The death of more than 5 million people in Biafra as a result of the brutal civil war which ended exactly 50 years are a scar on the nation history today. So if you want to know why or how, why don't you join me and let's do it together. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ojukwu. After the end of this video, if you like it, please don't forget to touch the like button and share with friends. And if you're seeing this channel for the first time, why don't you subscribe to be part of this family where I share the cultural heritage of the Igbos, the Idi and the Igbo. For most Nigerians, the war over the breakaway of state called Biafra is generally regarded as, unfortunate episode best forgotten. But for the Igbos, people who fought for secession, it remains life-defining event. They can't forget it. In the 1967, following to two coups, which led to about a million Igbos returning to the southeast of Nigeria, the Republic of Biafra succeeded with 33-year-old military officer Emeka Odumegwu Ojukwu. The Nigerian government declared war. After 30 months of fighting, Biafra surrendered. On 15th January 1970, the conflict officially ended. So the government policy of no victor, no vanquished may have led to leak of the official reflection. But many Nigerians of the Igbo origin grew up to know these stories from people lived through the war or from their family members. Those who were involved in the secessionist campaign also have been sharing their stories. So today I am going to share the story with you from Christopher Ejike Ago, and who was then a soldier in Biafran War. And during this period he had series of experience, obviously, as a soldier. He's one of those that I will consider best to tell us what happened this period. So he had just finished his grammar school and started training as a veterinary assistant at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, which is then abbreviation, short way of saying it is UNN. UNN is one of the best university in Nigeria, in southeastern part of Nigeria. So in the southeastern Nigeria, when the war began, almost every student he knew became part of the war effort. So he said he joined the Biafran army and was assigned to the signal unit, and his responsibility then includes active intelligence and evidence dropping on the Nigerian army. He also said that they were we were thinking that they were magicians. The Nigerians were very, the Nigerians who were pursuing them were well-trained soldiers, but the Biafrans were not. They were just, drift into the war and given only 2 days training. You can imagine 2 days training. I wonder what it's going to be of whoever is in that battlefield or battle line then. So plus the fact that they were hungry, there was no food. There was so much, hunger in Biafran land then. Some of them, their skin was getting rotten, and after gun bullet, no treatment. You can imagine what the sore will look like. Nobody can fight a war like that. Nobody. In January 1966, some senior Nigerian army officers, most of the Igbo ethnic group, assassinated the key politicians during the coup. So in the west, and these people are from the west and the north part of Nigeria. Those killed include Ahmadu Bello. He was then the leader in the north. This led to months of massacre against the Igbo living in the northern part of Nigeria. They were killed in thousands, and while about 1 million flew back to the eastern part, this event now sparked the division to fight for secession, and were headed by Ojukwu, who was then the military governor of the eastern region. In the months preceding the war, Ojukwu often, visit UNN, which was the only university in the southeastern Nigeria at that time, to meet with students and prepare them for the sections. So Mr. Agor said he always, looked forward to this visit and joined the crowd who gather at the University Freedom Square, where he always visits. And he went on to say that once Ojukwu helicopter touches down, everybody went there and practically school will be shut down. He said Ojukwu had this incredible sense of humor. He spikes everybody up, and that they will form songs to sing and enjoy themselves all day. In the first year of the war, the Nigerian government captured the coastal city of the Port Harcourt and imposed a blockage, which cut food, medical, and war equipment supply to the Biafra. Mr. Agor also said that he remembered the overpowering hunger that often, forced Biafran soldiers to catch and eat mouse. He also remembered the last year of the war when his unit was, continuously on the move. But he said that despite the lack of the resource and international support, Biafran stood very firm, refusing to surrender to the face of an overwhelming Nigerian military who were obviously superior than them. The Nigerian army, however, continued to slowly take some of the territory of the Biafran land. During the Civil War, he also said that the estimated people that they lost every day was 3,000 to 5,000 people. The people who were deadly, who were dying daily in Biafra from starvation as a result of the blockage of importing food into Biafran land, or bringing in medical aids, or maybe a kind of war equipment, were not forthcoming. The international reaction to this military conflict helped to define how the war now is viewed and respond to similar crises that is happening today. Mr. Agor also said that somewhere in the middle of the war, the Biafrans made some dramatic success that even gave them hope that they might hold the Nigerians until at least some help from outside will come. But unfortunately, by late 1969, all hope for them to succeed was lost. And obviously, on January 15, 1970, the Biafrans finally surrendered when its military commander, General Emeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, fled to Ivory Coast, leaving them all in without no plan, without no leader, no commander. The war cannot carry on. So everything had to end with the Biafrans surrendering to Nigerian armies. Mr. Agor also said he left the army and went in search of his family, whom he had not heard from in more than 2 years. He collected his portion from a location of raw rice to his unit, then set off towards the village of a relative where he suspected his parents or siblings would be. He said he had to carry the rice while he was starving himself across rivers and forests until he found them. He also said many of his friends and classmates had died at the battlefront, but his family was delighted to see him and that he was also still alive. And apart from that he also brought food for them, because there was a lot of hunger, there was starvation. He said hunger killed more Biafrans than bullets of the war or the bombs. So when the university was reopened a few months after war ended, Mr. Agor returned to UNN. Eventually, he graduated with degree in plant and soil science. He said he thought Biafran would have done better if he had handled it with a little bit more intelligence. That's Mr. Ojukwu. He said that Mr. Ojukwu probably then thought he was Jesus, that's what everyone was saying then, and that he could do magic to get Biafrans to scale through this war during the period of the war. But unfortunately his plan failed him. So he went ahead, said that if Ojukwu had slowed down and allowed some people who were with him to advise him properly, the Biafran would have come out better than they did. Then we have the second person and his interview. Also, it's a bit of his experience about the war, and his name is Mr. Felix Nwankwo Orago, Mr. Felice's lecturer at the UNN when the Civil War began. So he said for 30 months he headed the research and production, which is the RAP group, comprising the Igbo scientists from the various fields in the university. His primary responsibility then was to provide technical support to the Biafran army, which was poorly equipped anyway. The RAP's most notable product was the Ogbunigwe. So the Ogbunigwe is like the weapon launcher of remarkable and then devastating effect, which influenced the outcome of many battles in Biafran's favor. According to according to how the historical, history have reported it. Mr. Orago also said that without them, the war would have lasted only about few hours. He went ahead and also explained that when the war started, there was no single weapon either in the store or anywhere throughout the Biafra. They were only knives. They had only knives and cutlasses. No gun, no bomb, nothing. So in the aftermath of the war, the Nigerian government did not, punish or impose any conflict or any collective punishment to the Biafran soldiers. So, but nevertheless, the Igbo faced some devastating consequence, especially to the economy, as the Biafran's currency that people had accumulated and then become very worthless. So the currency they had then was very, was little or no value, because obviously it wasn't Nigerian money, and since they lost the battle, they had to start using Nigerian money. So whoever that had Biafran currency then knew that it was all worthless. So that was another devastating challenges that Biafran went through the war when the war ended. Many Igbos still feel, sidelined in Nigeria politics today, as since the Civil War, no one of the ethnic group has become a president, and increasingly crises of marginalization have led the recent year of the emergency of Igbo group agitating once again for succession, especially the indigenous people of Biafra, which are known as the IPOB, formed by UK-based British Nigerian Mazi Nandi Kano. So the agitation is still there. The new generations are still coming up and saying that the Civil War is still visible in Nigeria, because they feel that they are still being marginalized and still being denied some certain position or some certain sector that would make them, feel part of being Nigeria. And all of this is linked to the war, that the Civil War or the Biafran War, like a lot of people would say it. Mr. Orago also said he wishes that the Igbo had paid less attention to, scramble for power at the center, and instead distinguish their region for advancing the technological game of the war. He also said Biafra would have been a technological nation and would have been able to compete with nobody. By this time, Biafra would have been the scientific time, the science wartime accomplishment had caught the attention of the Nigerian authorities, and he was invited by the government to pioneer the special science and technology program for the country. He was behind the setting of 4 universities of science and technology in different regions of Nigeria. And after the retirement, he published the scientific and technological invention in Biafra, a book he hoped would inspire young Nigerians. So lastly, he stated that Nigeria was programmed by British authorities not to participate in production and manufacture of global technologies. He also wrote in his book this kind of quote, that the war gave the opportunity to reject the colonial design. And also he said it was an incredible period. Obviously it was a horrible period. So I know back in the days, my parents did tell me, part of the story, and how they lived through this wartime, and it was very horrific. There was so much hunger, and I saw some pictures of my grannies. They had what they call kwashiorkor. I don't know if people know about it, but it was a very bad it was a very bad period, and this history is, alive again today because of so much agitation going on in Nigeria today, because the Igbos, who are the Biafrans, are still like, thinking or saying that the treatment they're getting from the Nigerian as a country is still like making them reflect back to the history. And one mistake that the country itself has done is not being able to, say this history, teach history in the school, and let people know about most of the new generation from the Igbo land or Nigerian as a whole knew about this history or knew about this war from their family member or from, people who lived during this period, which is another mistake from the government part. That's the Nigerian government. I think the agitation today is because a lot of people have grown up or, dabble into this history, maybe through social media or maybe through because of the recent agitation going on across the country. So a lot of tension is growing in that country, and I feel if its care is not taken, another civil war might be, experienced in that country. So I remember the money. I grew up, I saw Biafran money, which obviously my dad had bundles of it, and it was it was really looking beautiful, but it was worthless because obviously since Biafrans didn't, skate through with the war, they were forced to go back to Nigeria, join back with the Nigeria and start to use the Nigerian currency. And everyone who had these bundles and cash, be it in the bank or anywhere you hide it, it was just worthless. And they just, so my father just kept it there. And, when we grew up, he, telling us the story, has to show us pictures and this, some of the notes, the Biafran notes. So guys, it's really horrific story, and trust me, in this war almost 5 million Biafran lost their life out of hunger, like you have seen our war veterinaries have said, and not even the bullet, not even the bomb, but out of hunger a lot of people lost their life. And I pray that whatever agitation that is going on today in that country, that the leaders will call the Biafran to sit on the round table and ask them what they want. If there will be like a referendum to be passed so that everyone knows what they want and asks what they want, and at the end maybe resolved in a very amicable and a friendly manner, so that another civil war will not break out in that country. So to that, I would say here is the end of this video, and if you like this video, please don't forget to touch the like button and share with your family and friends. And if you're seeing this channel for the first time, please subscribe to be part of this family where I share the cultural heritage of the Igbos and lifestyle and sometimes language as well. So with that being said, I'll see you next time, and stay blessed. Bye.